Hi all, welcome to EdUp YouTube channel. I am Ranjan and I will be teaching you one of the most important subject of electrical engineering, that is your basic concept of electrical engineering. In this lecture, we are going to cover the concept of resistance, inductance and capacitance and the various factors affecting them. In my subsequent video, I will cover circuit law as well as magnetic circuit. Now listen. This video is strictly following SSC JEE syllabus. And let's know what will be my way of teaching. In this lecture, I will be trying to build up your concepts through MCQ that have been appeared in your previous SSC JEE exam. And also, I have taken few questions from standard book. Why basic electrical subject is so important to study? First of all, you can expect around 25 to 30 questions out of 100 in your SSC JEE exam. So the weightage of this subject is around 30%. And secondly, this subject is the prerequisite for almost all the electrical subject like electrical machine, power system and field theory, etc. Now let's start today's lecture with our first problem. In our first question, it is asking which of the circuit component opposes the change in circuit voltage. In order to answer this question, let's go through each option very clearly. So what is a resistance? Resistance is an inherent property of any conductor that opposes the flow of current. Flow of current. It is just like to the inertia, means inertia opposes the mechanical state of a system. Similarly, resistance opposes the electrical state of a system. For example, suppose consider there is a conductor in which electrons are moving randomly, that is the state is here random, and when we are applying an external voltage, then electrons are drifted to flow current. Now the state of a system is the flow of current, so this state is opposed by the resistance because of its property. So it can be treated as electrical inertia. The resistance of any conductor depends on shape, size and material of conductor, and the formula for resistance is given as R equals to rho L by A, where L is the length of conductor, A is the area of cross section of a conductor, and rho is the resistivity of a conductor, which is reciprocal of conductivity. So when L increases, R also increases, it is very obvious, and when A increases, R decreases. As temperature changes, we can't use this formula as resistivity depends on temperature. Now resistance at any temperature RT is given by R reference whole into 1 plus alpha T minus T reference, where R reference is resistance at reference temperature and alpha is thermal coefficient of resistance. Now let's know what resistance actually does in an electrical circuit. So basically, resistance convert electrical energy in voltage and current domain to heat energy in I square R domain. Okay, so this heat can either be desirable or undesirable. So when it is desirable, when resistance is part of load, and when it is undesirable, when resistance is part of transmission line or wire. For example, let's consider an electrical load, that is your electric heater. It is a resistive load, so it has a resistance whose resistance is R, capital R, and let's connect these two supply by using wire. We know that wire has an internal resistance small r, and when current flows, it causes losses I square R or heat. This heat is being dissipated to surrounding, and this is called undesirable power. This is also called as loss. This is undesirable. And when this capital R take current, that means when the load resistance take current and convert it to I square R or heat, this heat is being used by us for heating purpose. This is also heat, so this is desirable. Now let's see the concept of capacitance. Capacitance is a property of a system by which it stores charge temporarily, and it consists of two plates and separated by a dielectric or an insulator. Suppose if one plate store positive charge, then other plate will store negative charge of same amount. And when suppose C is the capacitance of a capacitor and V is the voltage applied to a capacitor, then the charge stored in the plate of a capacitor is given by Q equals to CV. Now capacitor in electrical network stores energy in electrostatic domain, that is in your electric field. So capacitance always store energy in electrostatic domain, that is your in electric field. Now at any time t, the energy stored by capacitor is given by 1 by 2 C V square. So how this formula will come? See, we know that power, instantaneous power, is equals to time rate change of energy. So energy equals to power into dt. Now integrate both sides, we will get E of t equals to integration and P of t equal to I of t into V of t dt. So this is integration, and in capacitor we know that the I of t is given by del V by del t into C Vt dt integration. So this dt and dt will be cancelled out, and as C is constant, taking it outside, and this one is Vt d of t. So this integration will be C into Vt square by 2. So finally we got half C Vt square. And one more thing, capacitance always opposes change in voltage. So when the voltage is constant, that is in DC voltage, there is no role of capacitance, but it arises in transient case. Why? In transient we changes the state, that's why there is the role of capacitance. So keep this in your mind, and this is your answer. So in this question the B will be the right answer. Now let's see the concept of inductance. So inductance is a property of any coil that opposes the change in current. So like capacitance, it also opposes the change in current. So when there is no change in current in the circuit, then L doesn't play any role, and when there is change in circuit, then A come into picture. It has a role in AC circuit as well as in transient. As it opposes change in current, we can call this as magnetic inertia of circuit. Now let's know what inductance does in an electrical network. Inductance store electrical energy in electromagnetic domain, that is your in magnetic field. So at any time t, the energy stored by inductor is given by half L into IT square. Here this formula can be derived by the same process as that of derivation of capacitance, which we did in our previous slide. In this question, it is saying there are 3 lamps which are connected in series across a 120 voltage supply and taking a current of 1.5 ampere. Now we have to find the resistance of third lamp, where the resistance of 2 lamps are given. So before going to solve this question, I will like to tell you connection concept. Let's start the concept of series connection. Here for the time being I am considering 2 elements to be impedances Z1 and Z2, as I wish to generalize the concept of series connection for resistance, inductance and capacitance. So here in series connection, the current through each element is same and is equal to the supply current. You can see here the supply current is I, and the current through Z1 is I1 and current through Z2 is I2. Here you can see I1 and I2 and I all 3 are equal, as there is a common path. So this is a first condition for series connection, that the source current equal to elemental current. Okay. Now second condition is that the supply voltage is divided among the elements. Okay. So here the supply voltage is V, is divided across Z1 and Z2. So this is V1 plus V2. And third point is that there must be a common node between the element, between the 2 elements. So this you can see this is a common node. So if you connect a resistance here like this, then this path is no longer will be series, as here the current is divided. So the current will no more same. So the 2 elements are not now connected in series. So keep in your mind that there must be a common node. And must not share by by other element. So this is most important point, and you can check whether the elements are connected in series or in parallel by looking into this concept. Now here let Z equivalent is the equivalent impedance of the total circuit. So by Ohm's law, the supply voltage V equal to I into Z equivalent. It is very obvious. Okay. Now V equal to V1 plus V2, series condition. So V equal to I into Z equivalent, and this one I into Z1 plus I into Z2. So taking common I, it will be get cancelled out, then Z equivalent equal to Z1 plus Z2. So this is Z equivalent in case of series connection. Now if we wish to determine the V1 and V2 in term of supply voltage, then this formula will be called as voltage division rule, and we can directly use this concept while dealing with networks. So now V1 equal to voltage across Z1 equal to current and its impedance. So current equal to V by Z equivalent. Z equivalent now we derived Z1 plus Z2 into Z2. Similarly V2 equal to V divided by Z2 divided by Z1 plus Z2. Sorry, this will be Z1. Okay. So we can remember these two formula and apply in questions directly. Here this table that I have made shows various element, resistance, inductance and capacitance, and their equivalent resistance, inductance and capacitance, and the voltage division rule. Okay. And one thing you can notice here, the resistance and inductance are obeying a common rule, that is in series they just get added up, while capacitance does the reverse, and while 1 by C equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. Now how this formula came? We know that impedance in case of resistance is simply R, and impedance in case of inductance is J omega L, and in case of capacitance we know that Z equal to 1 by J omega C. So by putting these Z value in equivalent formula, we will get this formula. In this problem 3 lamps are connected in series, and the 2 lamp each of 30 ohm resistance. So as 2 30 ohm resistances are connected, so their equivalent becomes, let's say R equivalent becomes equals to 60 as they are in series, and from this 1.5 ampere current and 120 volt we can calculate the total equivalent. This is R equivalent dash, let's say, equal to 120 divided by 1.5. This is your 80 ohm. Now this R unknown, let's say Rx plus R equivalent becomes the total equivalent, total circuit. From that we can calculate the unknown resistance, that is the resistance of third lamp will be 80 minus 60, that is 20 ohm. So option D is the right answer. In this question it is saying there are two inductor, one is of 4 Henry and other 6 Henry, and they are connected in series, and we have to find out the equivalent inductance of this combination. And in my previous slide I derived the formula for the inductance when they are in series, equivalent inductance when they are in series. So by using this formula, L equivalent equals to L1 plus L2 when two inductors are in series. So 4 plus 6 equal to 10 Henry. So option B is your right answer. In this question it is saying there are 4 capacitors, each of 10 microfarad capacitance, and are connected in parallel. Now we have to find the net capacitance of the connection. Okay, now let's know the few important points regarding parallel connection. There are basically 3 points. First one is the voltage across each element is same and equal to supply voltage, that is V is same. And second thing is that the supply current is divided among the parallel elements. Here I is divided, means the I equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3 and I4. Okay. Now third point is most important, that there must be a common loop and between the two elements and must not be shared by any other elements. For example, this is a common loop, this is a common loop, and this is a common loop. Suppose if I put a capacitor at this, then these two capacitors will be no more in parallel. So keep this in your mind, keep this point, because this point, by using this point you can judge the connection of a network. Okay, so there must be a common loop not shared by other element. Okay, so in parallel connection or in series connection, the resistance and inductance follows one rule and capacitance follows another rule. Okay, so in parallel, suppose there are several resistors are connected, then their equivalent resistance will be 1 by R equivalent equals to 1 by R1, 1 by R2, like that. Similarly, inductance 1 by L equivalent equals to 1 by L1 plus 1 by L2, and like that. And here the capacitance just follows the opposite rule. C equivalent equal to C1 plus C2, and like that. Here in this question there are 4 capacitors, each of 10 microfarad. So C equivalent will be 4 into 10 microfarad equal to 40 microfarad. So option B will be your right answer. In this question it is saying there is a primary cell whose EMF is 1.5 volt, and when it is short circuited gives a current of 3 ampere. Now we have to find the internal resistance of the cell. Now we know that a cell is basically a voltage source and a internal resistance connected in series with it. Okay, let's say this one is given as 1.5 volt and this smaller is the its internal resistance, and this is the its two terminal, and when these two terminal are shorted, in question it is given there is a current will be 3 ampere flowing. So from Ohm's law we know that 1.5 volt equal to 3 into R. From that we got R equal to 1.5 by 3, that is 0.5 ohm. So option C is your right answer. In this question it is asking what will be the value of inductance if the number of turns of a coil is increased. So let's draw a inductor. So what is an inductor? Inductor simply is a coil. Okay, now let's draw. Let this is a inductor and let there is a current flowing, I amount of current is flowing through it. Okay, so we know that there is a formula inductance L equal to mu n square A by L, where n is the number of turns of the coil, A is area of cross section of the coil, means this area. Okay, and L is the length of the coil. Okay, so when a current flows, it produces flux. Okay, it produces flux like this, and mu is the permeability. Permeability means ability of a medium, ability of a core to permit magnetic flux. What is a medium? Inside the coil, this is medium. Okay, this is medium, and this medium may be your iron core, that is your magnetic core, or air core, whatever it may be. So permeability is the ability of that medium, so it depends upon the medium. Okay, from that formula L is directly proportional to n square, so the inductance will be increased. So D is your right answer. In this question, the current through a 8 millihenry inductor is given, which is a function of time, and we have to find the maximum power drawn by that inductor in kilowatt. So in this question, here L is given equal to 80 millihenry and I of t equal to, this is, I think this is 20. Okay, this is a mistake while in typing. So 20 root 2 sine 400 t ampere. Okay, we know that the voltage across a inductor is given as V of t equal to L di of t by dt, where di by dt is rate of change of current through inductor. Now let's differentiate this function. Okay, by differentiating sine, differentiation of sine is cos. Okay, and this 400 will be multiplied. Okay, as this is constant and this is chain rule. Okay, 400 into this is cos 400 t. Okay, from that 8 into 2 into 40 root 2 into cos 400 t. So this is 640 root 2 and cos 400 t. Now the instantaneous value of power P of t equal to V of t into I of t. Now V of t is 640 root 2 cos 400 t into 20 root 2 sine 400 t. So take these two constant together, we get 25 600 and sin 400 t into cos 400 t. So let divide here 2 and multiply by 2. So this will be your sin 2 theta, that is your 800 t. This will be 800 t. So by dividing this numerator by 2, we get 12,800, and this is sin, that is 2 theta. Okay, so this is instantaneous value of power, and in question we are asked to find out the maximum value. So P max will be, the maximum value of sin will be 1. We know that it very well, it is very obvious. So this is 12,800 watt, that is equal to 12.8 kilowatt. So option A will be the right answer. In this question, it is saying an uncharged inductor is placed across an ideal current source. So the current source is ideal. Okay, the output of source is instantly changed from 0 to some finite value and remains constant. Okay, how long will it take for the inductor to charge up to the current equal to the value of the current source? Here the current source is ideal source, and the output of the source is instantly changed from 0 to some finite value and remain constant. So the graph for the source will be like this. This is 0. Okay, this is 0, time t equals to 0. At time 0, as it is ideal and the output is instantly changed, so this is the current source. Okay, I of t. This is just like to your step signal. Okay, now we have to find the voltage across the inductor, or the voltage means how long will it take the inductor to charge up the current, means we have to find out the voltage across the inductor. We know that the voltage across inductor will be given as VLT equal to L DILT by dt. Here the ILT is step signal, so differentiation of step signal with respect to time and product with L will give VL. So the VL, the graph of VL will be impulse. How impulse? Now we know that the differentiation of step signal, will be your impulse, because the integration of impulse, that is, you know that integration of impulse equal to the unit step signal. Okay, so from that we can get this. So at time t equals to 0, it will instantaneously rise. That means the inductor will take no time, that is 0. At 0, what is the impulse function? Impulse function can have very high magnitude. At 0 time, means it can operate, it can do its job at instantly. So the inductor will take 0 time. So the right answer will be your A. In this question, it is saying there is a capacitor of 20 microfarad capacitance and has initial voltage 5 volt and the current through it is 25 milliampere. Now we need to find out how long will it take, means the capacitance will take how much time to charge up to 200 microcoulomb. Okay, so here given is your capacitance equals to 20 microfarad, initial voltage across capacitance is 5 volt, current through the capacitance is 25 milliampere, and we have to find the time to charge up to 200 microcoulomb. So this is your Q. So we know that the current flows through the capacitor is given as I equal to C dV by dt, where both voltage and current are function of time. Okay, so from this, so dVt equal to 1 by C integration I of t dt, and the integration limit will be from minus infinity to 2t. Okay, now 1 by C, let break the limit minus infinity to 0, I of t dt plus 1 by C 0 to t I of t dt, and this voltage will be your initial voltage across the capacitor. So this voltage is given 5 plus 1 by C 1 by C Ft is given 25 into 10 to the power minus 3 ampere dt, and it is constant. So V equal to 5 plus 1 by C into 25 into 10 to the power minus 3. So integration will be this t, as there is no function, so 1 integration is t, and limit is from 0 to t. So after that t will be the result. So we know that charge stored in a capacitor is given as Q equals to Cv, implies that V equal to Q by C, where Q is 200 microcoulomb and C is 20 microfarad. Micro get cancelled out, and here we got 10 volt. And let make this voltage equation as equation 1 and put this 10 volt into this, we get 10 equal to 5 plus 25 into 10 to the power minus 3 by 20 into 10 to the power minus 6 into t. Now 10 equal to 5 plus 5000 by 4 into t. Now by solving this, we get t equal to 20 by 5000. Now this is 0.004 second equal to 4 milliseconds. So option A will be your right answer. In this question, it is asking what will be the waveform of the power if a ramp voltage is applied to a capacitor. So the instantaneous power of a capacitor is given as V of t into I of t. Simple, this is power, we know it. Okay, then we know that the current flows through capacitor is given as I of t equal to C into dv by dt. Okay, so put this in your power equation, v of t into c dv by dt. Okay, now see, the voltage is ramp, so this is ramp and this is constant. Okay, and this is the differentiation of ramp. The differentiation of ramp is step. Okay, that is constant. Okay, so now when a step is multiplied with ramp, then the waveform becomes also ramp. Okay, so the power waveform is proportional to ramp. So the power waveform will be similar to a ramp wave. So the option B is your right answer. This question is a homework for you. Try to solve on your own and put the right answer in the comment section below. Next day I will solve this question. By this, let's wind up today's lecture. Thanks for watching everybody. See you in my next video. Till then, keep watching and keep learning. And one more thing, please subscribe to our channel and like the video. And if you have any doubt, then put your doubt in the comment section. Thank you.